Hello and welcome to the Hobby Corner. My name's Kev and today we are going to be discussing a brand new gaming system called War on Terra. And I have these two beautiful, handsome young men who are behind that beautiful creation and are going to discuss it with us as well as a bit more about themselves. So we're going to get to know the people behind the game and a little bit about the game itself. And before we do that, just got to say I will have a link to the Kickstarter in the description below. It's just hit full funding, which is awesome, but it's not too late to back it yourselves. So there we go. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
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 Everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
who are you?
Well, I'm Alex, half of AWA Game Design that created War on Terra, and this is.
And I'm Will, the other half that created AWA Game Design, who created War on Terra.
Excellent. Hello, both of you. So first question, what's AWA?
Well, we struggled to come up with like an interesting company name, so we went boring. I'm Alex Weber, so it's AW.
And I'm William Anton, WA.
So it just emerged into AWA, and that's
Beautiful.
that's about the size of it.
Yeah.
But obviously, because we want to do different games in the future, we needed to be a company rather than just War on Terra. So
Yeah. Oh, I love the synergy of it as well. It's really.
Oh,
nice.
it worked out really well. Plus, the letters worked in that order. We did consider WAW, but it's too much of a mouthful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Awa.
Awa.
Awa is better than wow.
Or hang on. No, that would be that. Or wow. No, that would have worked. Wow, games.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Double A. No.
No.
It would have worked. Yeah. And would it be better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not.
But yeah, that's what AWA is, our business name. And as Alex mentioned, we've got many more ideas for games in the future. War and Terror is obviously kicking off, and it's really nice to know. And we so many more ideas. Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh. Yeah.
Awesome. So, how did you guys meet? What's the backstory on that?
Well, I mean, it's a bit bizarre. I'm a chef, and for the last good few years, I've been doing sort of freelance agency work. So basically, what that means is they can put you anywhere: hotels, restaurants, bars, schools, and zoos. There's a zoo down near our way called Portland, and they have different accommodation. And one of the accommodation, you get a private chef who comes. Excuse me, who comes and cooks your dinner and cooks your breakfast, which was me. And part of that as well is one of the zoo rangers there takes you on a guided safari and brings you up to the cottage. And one of those rangers was
this guy. So yeah, I, as of start of March this year, been working at the zoo for 9 years. Take people on private safaris, chatting rubbish about animals, giving them any information that they kind of want about all manner of animals that they want to know about and what ones we have. And again, like Alex said, part of my duties was to, as part of an accommodation, they get a check-in safari, like 75% of the safari that day. We then drop them up at the accommodation. We turn from ranger into part host, helping the chef and stuff, back in with the morning, and then the other part of the safari out. So it was a pretty cool package actually for what you get.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's a good plug for Portland Zoo.
Yeah.
Go and say this. I mean, it won't be me because I don't do that anymore. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah. I've been back there on and off, so you never know in the future.
Chef, ex-chef, animal pointer at her.
I prefer that.
That's
pretty much what I do.
That's the new term.
Yeah, that's a rhino. That's not a rhino.
There we go.
That's also not a rhino.
It's as easy as that. Anyone can do it.
It's
That's a
really,
rhino
it's
with
an
a
easy
horn.
role.
That's a rhino without
Yeah.
a horn, and that's a rhino with a trunk.
Yeah, that's a really long-necked rhino with spots. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yourself.
Part of my job lately is because all the marsh frogs are starting to start their mating calls, and they're really loud. And so part of my job is basically telling the people in the morning, "Oh, we heard something overnight. Was it one of the animals?" It's just frogs. It's just frogs.
It's just frogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exciting.
Exciting.
All right. All right. We've done that. So tell us about War on Terra. Why? Just why? Why have you decided you wanted to create a game? What was the drive behind coming together? Think going. You know what? We both want to create something. Let's have a go.
Well, I mean, I've probably said this places before, but I always tried to get into Warhammer and other games, but predominantly Warhammer, all through growing up. And it's not. I don't want to say I couldn't get my head around it. I mean, you can obviously get your head around it. The rules make, to an extent, sense. It's just certain aspects of it didn't make sense. And so I never really got as into it as everyone else did. And it just, I suppose about 10, 12 years ago, I started thinking, surely you could just come up with one. You know, if you have, I'm going to see like the whole thing in as well. Nice.
That was smooth. That was withheld eye contact as well.
Yeah, we'll ask you a question now. What do you?
Yeah. So, why the hobby corner? Why the name Kev? It's why a bin?
We haven't got biscuits.
We haven't got biscuits actually. You got any spare?
Well, let you finish that.
I've got two
Yes.
questions left. That's it. Like scraping the barrel of biscuits right now.
No, crack on, man. Long story short, just thought if you're unhappy with all these elements of a game that you tried to get into, then you could just create one and remove all the elements that you're unhappy with. And then working with Will, it wasn't long in where, you know, he's flicking to his phone and I saw pictures of these incredible like Warhammer models he's painted. And so it's like, you're into tabletop gaming. Said that I'd had a thought about creating something. Will's like, oh, well, I'm sure we can get together and smash something out. And so, yeah, we did.
Yeah. I've tried to think and remember back over the years and think, what were the conversations that we had which spurred it on? Like, well, what did we get onto? What topics? And I can't remember. It just seemed to work. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It was a spur of the moment. Yeah, we can do this.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, we can do this.
We can do this. And how long did it take for you to do it?
Well, it's been the best part of 7 years now, I think, which sounds like an insanely long time, but bearing in mind we've both been working full-time jobs, long hours. I've got 2 young kids, so it's not like it's been full-time.
No.
I think the beauty was we never had a set end date. So we knew we could just work on it until it's ready, and then it'll be ready. So full-time it could probably be a lot quicker, but yeah, because it started off as just we were chatting about it. We thought, we'll give it a go, get together every now and again, and see what we come up with.
Yeah, we must have been. Because Alex would have been up at that accommodation chefing for a few days, 4 or 5 days a week, but I would only be up there maybe 2 days out of that week, if not 1 day, and then if possible. So that was only a few hours because we did have guests as well, so they obviously took our attention. and then maybe at night you'd finish that at like 9 o'clock, and then head around my house for maybe an extra hour to flesh things out, or as much as we could flesh things out in an hour before we were shattered and needed to go to bed. So you're looking maybe 3-4 hours a week of actually getting together and chatting, and it's not a lot, which is why it took so long.
Yeah.
If you squish all that together, it'd be a significantly shorter amount of time. But actually, by taking this long, we've ended up coming up with great ideas and workarounds that we might have actually overlooked if we had rushed through it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Slow and steady is a good way to do it, especially because a lot of this I assume is still a hobby. Like you're making a business out of it, but it's still part hobby as well. And for the most part, it was like a passion project. So yeah, as you said, you didn't have a deadline you had to hit. Your bills weren't relying on it. You know,
No.
like it was just do it at your leisure. And of course, I'm sure you saw a lot of game systems come and go or get extra editions and refreshes throughout that time that would have helped you guys sort of see.
Oh yeah,
that don't work. This might.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah. Tried, because I would say I'm into board games, but I wouldn't have said, especially 7 years ago, that I was as into them as I am now. I enjoy them, but looking more into War and Terra, and obviously, well, not looking into it, but like thinking more about it, we did have to do a lot of research, because we started with absolutely nothing. We'd never designed any aspect to a game before, whether that be the rules, the models, website design, card design, so basically like Photoshop design, anything like that. I didn't have any of it. Yeah, it's like, so it was all absolutely fresh to me.
Well, I think it helped as well in terms of the tabletop side of it, is that we'll have played games like that before, and I hadn't really.
Yeah.
So coming up with a different idea. So it's like we're talking about basic movement, and then obviously from coming from that world, it's like, well, most people do it like that, and then but there's certain elements where, from not being in that world, you can go, well, that doesn't make any sense. And you think, well, that's just how it's always been. That's how other people do it. Well, we can change it now. It's amazing how many things are just, that's how it's done. That when you actually stop and think about it, it's like it makes no sense at all. So yeah, we think that's helped us quite considerably.
Yeah,
actually along the way.
I suppose, yeah, you guys have got that nice dynamic going on where, you know, one of you is very much into tabletop games and the other one got a sort of loose understanding, but you're not really involved. So you do have that, like you said, outsider perspective, so you can question it a lot more.
Yeah,
fresher, like perspective, and just go, hang on, you know what? Wouldn't this just be easier? Or why doesn't this work? Or why does this work? And stuff like that. And no, that's a really good way to do it, and I suppose it saves you having to outsource that kind of perspective as well, like getting other people involved with their, you know, who don't look at games so much and go, hey, look, what do you think of this? While you're just working out the fundamentals and stuff, because that would sort of dilute the idea of it a bit, I think. So
as well, it definitely grounded us, because I definitely think if both me and Alex had been big time tabletop gamers, it had been very easy to get carried away with rules. Whereas if you're both experts, expert rules seem easy, and you forget that a lot of people might be fresh faced, and you might be able to understand them, and you'd be like, oh well, no, they're just idiots because it obviously means this. It sometimes isn't as straightforward as what you think. So you need someone that's not massively into it, not really well versed, to be like, God, this can read easier, this can be written better, kind of thing.
Also, it's created out of that's come a lot of our core game mechanics. Like we look at pick on Warhammer. Okay, so you've got 10 guys in that unit, as they call them, or they move around the board. They have to stay together. And in my mind, well, why the hell have they got to stay together? That makes no sense at all. Will's ex-military, and he'll tell you that if it calls for you splitting up, you split up.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that. But obviously, if you're used to a world where those are the rules, you just assume that
units stick together.
Yeah, that's how it's done, and you might have just slipped that in without thinking of different ways of approaching it.
Yeah. Sorry, in my head, after what you said, like, I know it seems immature, but I just had, that's what she said.
Yeah.
I put my grown up back on. So, okay, that's awesome. So, what? I mean, I guess there would have to be some sort of inspirations for the work as well. Have you been able to identify what has inspired you for certain aspects of the game, or certain ideas about the background, the lore, the story of it, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose looks-wise, it comes from a love of stuff like Star Trek, Blade Runner, that kind of science fiction, but not ridiculously far in the future. So you sort of things have tried to be grounded in science. We've gone with a hard science lore, so everything kind of, we've tried to explain it as best we can. Everything has a grounding in physics, or at the very least theoretical physics, as to how things work. So that's guided quite a bit. And the lore sort of followed along with that, really. Just a love of Stargate as well. I did anything like that. Any sort of
Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers right up there.
Yeah.
We took inspiration from everything. Independence Day. Love the movie. Even number 2. Number 2's just, if you're expecting too much from it, just watch it. It's great fun.
It's just fun. That's right, yeah.
It's an amazing movie. There's a giant alien queen with a spiraling spaceships around. Just watch it. Just watch it.
Don't watch it.
No,
it's amazing.
The first Independence.
What do they say? Rick and Morty. It's a joyless cash grab of the film. The second one.
No, it's everything you want out of an action movie. It's hammy as hell. It's got non-stop like shit blown up, and it's got like just the worst.
It's got Jeff Goldblum. This is one saving grace.
They got Jeff Goldblum back.
Yeah. Jeff freaking Goldblum. I mean, that guy is one of a kind, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that all right? So yeah, no, I like the idea that you've sort of taken inspiration from certain aspects, and I do like the idea that you have tried to make it as much in sci-fi rather than science fantasy, because
it's again, that's a very easy slope to start slipping down. Once, because other games you're used to a lot of science fantasy, it's very easy to go down like massive psychic powers and warp gates, and why not? And well, then you might be turning into a lot of other games that also use those kind of things. And I mean, don't get me wrong, if we could come up with them and it makes sense, then maybe we'd use it. But definitely the grounding thing. Another thing we really did, which grounded a lot of our designs, we tried to think, how would it work in reality? So you take the Talus, our robotic faction. From the onset, we knew that we didn't want to just go down the robotic human route. Everything is a robotic human, but it's got to be one of the worst designs ever. Like, you take out one leg and they're on the ground and struggling. They wouldn't have legs. They wouldn't have a head. Why would they need heads? They'd have sensors and everything. You don't see aeroplanes, even though they've got the cockpit, of course, but they don't have a physical head. on them that looks like a face. There's no need, or a train. Like it's just a machine. And so we tried to make them as non-human as possible. They are purely robots, kind of thing. And so that way as well, trying to save us from getting into certain stereotypes as well. I suppose you could say it that way.
Yeah, although it's been the harder option because, like with Talos, they're, like we say, they're robot. They're not AI. They're not artificial intelligence. It'd be very easy to go down the route of, they're AI. They can think for themselves.
Done.
That's why they do this, that, and the other. Whereas we've decided no, they're robotics, and then we've had to look into reasons why they could have malfunctioned and then turned against things that lead you into like sudden upset events caused by solar radiation. And we've gone down the longer route of trying to create reasons for these things being
the scenic route.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. I know I do. And I feel familiar with your sentiment about why a robot would need a head and legs, and it could be any shape or form really, as its function dictates. I suppose for the most part, those sci-fi programs or movies, they have like the humanoid form because they're usually in a servant role, but they're close to the people, so it's like for that familiarity.
That makes sense.
But
yeah,
at the same time, I think that's creepy as hell. I'd much rather a box with wheels, like just going around going, rather than a humanoid's going, "How may I serve you?" And then I'm constantly thinking, one day I'm not gonna wake up because this motherfucker is gonna be stomping on me.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Absolutely. Yeah, every time. Yeah. Create human robots, they will kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, whilst a box with wheels, just go up some stairs, you're fine.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
No one's worried about the Roomba staring at you from across the room because it hasn't got a face. But yeah, if you've got if there's a robot, if Crichton from Red Dwarf was stood in the corner, he's staring at it. It has a face. There's something odd about it.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so that's the basis of it. So what about the factions themselves? So you've covered a bit about the Talos, which is the malfunctioning robots, which are sent out for what, terraforming or just base?
Exactly that. Basically, because they're mining robots, so they're sent out to do in situ resource utilization, which is an obscure mining term.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, to dig out what's to basically to prepare distant worlds for our arrival. Really, so they can drill to get the core elements and then build habitats. Because there's ways that things in our universe can travel faster than light, but humans can't. We're at the stage in our development where we have cloning. So the way we would do it is if the Talos have gone out and they've colonized a planet, they can then set up a cloning station, if you like. So that's how we can get there. We can't travel at faster than light speeds in our universe, same as we currently can't now. But yeah, so that's the Talos anyway.
Yeah,
and then
that's freaky.
And then we got the.
Sorry, I just imagine like a clone of me wakes up on some alien world, but do they know that they're a clone? Do they know why they're there, or they just like, I'm born at 23 and like
kind of
it's kind of like it's basically like how the Star Trek transporter would actually work. It's basically every time you go in, from a physics standpoint, you're dying. It's just replicating your molecules somewhere else. For all intents and purposes, you're the same human being, but you're not really. So yeah, if you die, you can be reborn into a clone. They create these bodies that you get born to, and if you're part of the military, you don't have to pay for that process, which is why there's always a large supply of people willing to fight for the cause, because
it's immortality in a way. Yeah, unless something goes horribly wrong.
Okay. I kind of get an altered carbon vibe from that, just without
Yeah.
the discs in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just no transferred consciousness. It's just that's a carbon copy. They're grown in a vat, just for your convenience. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then we have the Greys as well. I like the look of them. Flying saucers, very much a traditional alien looking, like Roswell style aliens. How did they come about then?
We wanted Warrenter, as we've mentioned, based in as much reality as possible, and we are both fans of of learning a lot about conspiracy theories. We love them. We find them hilarious, and obviously one of them is that the Greys have invaded or been at least visited, and they do the crop circles. And it was one thing that we thought, oh, it's kind of already here. Like the aliens there, they're just there for the taking. So we looked to see if anybody else had done some like Roswell style grey models, and we couldn't find any nice ones. And we thought we can do that better. We can go down. We can make them look really creepy, make them how like I imagine greys are meant to be. And we just incorporated a lot of the old Roswell grey conspiracy about where they come from in the universe. Crop circles to be kind of like a form of writing. Thought we could do it, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, that's basically how they came about. And the sector of the galaxy in our lore that they're in, they were sort of keeping themselves to themselves until obviously some of our Talis robotics went out and entered their star systems, and then they were able to trace it back to us, which is how they realised that we were knocking about.
Okay. All right. So not necessarily peaceful, but sort of keeping to themselves, and then a chance human tech disturbs them, and like a wasp nest, they're just like, we'll fucking have you.
So that's a really good way of putting it, actually. Yeah, spot on.
Sweet. Yes, I'm coming around quite quickly.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the three. I mean, so you got the big bug things called the
Haraka.
It is Haraka, yeah. I was thinking.
Yeah, you had it. You had it.
Hacker.
No, it's Haraka. They first came across it. They were found by one of our factions called the Alkebulan Empire, which is our African-based, the continent of Africa-based. And I think Haraka, trying to remember all these, I think it's the Swahili word for quick.
Yeah, quick or fast or speed or something like that.
Because they are, they're very quick on the tabletop.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah,
I like the little bit of culture that you've put in there. That's pretty
cool.
So what's their sort of, I'm guessing, is it just like species survival, or is there like, like a brain bug behind it, like in Starship Troopers, or
so we came up with an idea of this. We didn't, the first name we came up with them was symbiotes, because we had an idea of them just absorbing things and going about their day, just doing that and just being extra aggressive in that. And then I ended up coming up with an idea that maybe they're an extra aggressive but single-celled organism. So they haven't got any organs. They're just gooey on the inside, and the harder outer shell is just like a hardened cellular wall. So there's no brain. There doesn't seem to be any organs or any way that they should work. In short, we have no idea how the Haraka work. They avoid sort of all of our proddings and probings into them for answers. As far as we're aware, there seem to be larger beasts, larger creatures that have certain abilities that they swarm around, but whether they are truly thinking and have a direction, we have no idea. So doesn't seem to be a brain behind them. And then all of a sudden, Alex came into the accommodation one day at work and employed me to look into slime mold.
All right.
Which is a real, it's real and exists here on Earth, and it's the largest single-celled organism on Earth. And so I did, and it just worked. It's just exactly what we needed to give the Haraka more depth and more lore. It's just that the Haraka are a kind of possible extraterrestrial slime mold that can separate instead of has to stay connected. And we came out with the Haraka. As Alex mentioned, we wanted them to be very quick moving army, close combat based, and found a really cool word for them. And it stuck really well. So in short, the Haraka are these weird single cellular organisms that we have no idea how they work. We have great guesses and studies, but nothing much more on them.
Oh, I like the little bit of mystery behind it. You know, it's good to have some things unexplained, or that can be expanded on in the future.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that you sort of got a little extra boost in that creation through studying slime mold, which is pretty fascinating. That's a very fascinating creature in itself. I'm sure you
it happened a couple of times.
Clips of it working away as well. It's freaky.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, it's wicked. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. All right, so that's that. And now the humans. I mean, we've sort of touched them here and there. Phrasing. But yeah, essentially. Yeah. So behave. So you've mentioned there are factions within this faction.
Yeah.
So they send out the Talos, start up colonies, cloning facilities, to sort of spread their reach. But how does it work in terms of, like, are there tribes, nations? Is it like continental collectives? What's going on the planet of origin, and how does that affect the universe around it?
So the planet of origin, Earth, gave rise to certain cultures and stuff in our lore, which then would keep as we expanded out. On Earth itself, within our lore, we got to a pretty good stage of development. The Talos started helping us here on Earth. We hadn't really sent them out yet. Love that. And essentially what happened was we ignored the resource availability dwindling as the population continued to rise under a nice life, until it was too late. All of a sudden, obviously, the barriers would just break down without funding and resource availability, food, you name it, crops, forests, just nice inhabitable places. And we know people break down very quickly. They group together in certain communities. They start creating new values. And that's what happened. Earth broke down over decades and decades from this happening. And what ended up forming were larger communities, tribes, gangs that hoarded and worked together certain resources, stole from each other, which is how we explain how everyone typically has the same warfare, or like sort of rifles and stuff like that, and vehicles. And essentially it was just intercontinental war. At this stage, it wasn't really broken down into countries or continents until, as our law says, as Alex mentioned, the Greys attacked. So during this time, we had sent out Talus to try and just maybe bring back resources, to try something. But then the Greys came back, and what we did is the old Independence Day. We all grouped together to defend humanity, and after that, we started working together, and a global community was then formed under Earth. The largest gangs, what we found, or tribes or communities, are the main factions, and they were made up of all the different sub-factions or tribes and gangs communities around them. And they're the ones that manage to gather everyone together and fight back. So they're our main factions. And so that gives you an ability that when you're painting, maybe you are painting the colours of, and well, I'm going to use it because we've said it, the Alkebulan Empire. But you want to do one of their greaves a slightly different colour because maybe they hail from a part of Asia and that's their colour. And they just moved and became part of that force or faction when it arose. But they want to hold true to their origins, kind of thing. And that's then the faction colour that you want to paint. So that's how the sub-factions came around. So the smaller sub-factions came first, but they were all still infighting. Then we got attacked, and then we united under the larger banners. And then once that had happened, we started going back out into space to try and just advance.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it
Has
did.
me
Yeah,
mesmerised for a moment.
there's a lot to the humans.
Yeah, no, I mean, that it doesn't feel too far fetched, to be honest. If like the crises that split everyone apart in the first place, that sounds very probable.
Yeah,
And then the Independence Day style of coming together, because if you don't, we're effed.
yeah.
That
And
makes
it's
sense to me.
sci-fi. You've got to have a world-ending union of humans. It happens.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. I just have this image of some dude in a fighter pilot. He's taking out the first ship. I'm back.
Oh, we'll add it in somewhere. It's good.
Sweet. All right, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So that's the main factions covered on release. Which, by the way, official release date of the game is.
Well, it's difficult with the Kickstarter because obviously we want to get everything that's been pledged fulfilled first. Which, like we've said on the page and stuff, we're doing it all ourselves or with UK companies, so it would be quick. And then, because obviously we don't want to start selling it until everyone that's backed us has got what they've backed us. But it's probably looking at, I'd say, early next year. I'd say springtime for a retail launch. Because I think you were probably going to say, we've got the 4 factions that the Kickstarter's running with.
Yeah.
And then we've got a 5th faction already called the Watchers, which will be there on the retail launch. And then we've got a couple of others further down the line, ready to go.
Can you tell us a bit more about the Watchers?
Well, that ties in with the Haraka, really. They used to be a species or a faction that we call the Origin. And in essence, Haraka, all they're looking to do is multiply. And they do that by absorbing any organic material until they've absorbed enough that they can split into 2. They swept through a very long time ago through the origins area of the galaxy and war broke out. Eventually, they realised that they were losing, so they converted themselves into this sort of pure energy being, which we now call the Watchers. So obviously that came about because the Haraka can't absorb you if you're not made of organic material. And then so they've been warring for millennia, and obviously they've swept into town around the same sort of time that the Greys have discovered us, and it's all kicking off.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, I like that. Energy beat.
Yeah, so the Watchers are our ancient universal beings, I suppose. They probably are older in our lore. We haven't thought of them yet. But they'll probably come around. But the Watchers started out peaceful explorers until the Haraka brought them onto war and went from there. But they're going to be our low model count elite force. Right. Since their energy form, their sort of energy incorporeal form, they don't age. So they have millennia and millennia to develop their skills, and it's really cool. In game, when they die, they all explode. They just dissipate, and nice. Any model in base contact has to roll a save because it's a big bang, which is kind of cool. It's like screw you right at the end. But yeah, low model count. They're big. They're really cool, and our aim for them is pretty cool. Our aim ultimately is to have an entirely floating army.
Right.
So the majority of them, if not all of them, will be on floating bases, and I imagine the only parts that will be touching the base will be for modelling reasons, if they've kicked up some dust or whatever have you. But typically we want all of them to be floating.
Okay, so how would you do that, with like clear rods or?
Yeah, clear floating bases. Okay. I've already designed the clear floating bases that we can print. You can see these on the ancillary drones, the Greys command model and their effector, as well as the Greys floating saucer, the Gaia. So there's no reason, if we're creating this, we can create any scale, any size, any shape floating base and make it work for our model.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that's pretty much the factions covered, and a nice sizable chunk of the lore, which I like as well. So, thank you for that. So I think now that the audience is caught up on what the frick's going on, let's talk a bit more about the game itself. How does it work? What is the format that you play in, the dice you use, how you work out your encounters? Do you have like HQ troops, elites, and that sort of stuff, or is it a bit more fluid than that? What's going on, man?
So, first of all, I'm going to get out right in the open what a lot of people worry about. Our game works in turns and phases, but already people go, "Oh, I want a more reactionary game. I want reaction rolls or whatever have you. Turns are boring because my opponent goes first turn and then I go my turn, and basically like how Warhammer plays." And I just remember back, if we were playing a nice sizable game, if it's my opponent's turn, I just go make a coffee. I just let me know when you're done, because it's boring otherwise. So yes, our game works in the same turns and phases, but not the same. Our phases are back and forth. So if you win priority, which you always have a priority roll, yes, you are going first for that turn. But unlike Warhammer, first of all, a priority roll is rolled every single turn. It's not for the whole game. So you could go first this turn, and I could go first second turn. Next is that the phases are not you do all yours, I do all mine. We swap. So if you win priority, you do get to move first, but then once you're done moving your models, I then move mine. And then you get to shoot, like you get to the ballistic phase, and then I get my ballistic phase. So it's back and forth. And this means that if your opponent's moved, if they've won priority and they've moved into a good position to shoot you or shoot an important an attachment, you can always move out the way before they even shoot you. So sometimes you really want to go second because if your opponent moves into the open, then when you move, they can't move out the way because you've went second. So our game is brilliant because of the amount of times you actually want to lose priority. So that's one of the major things that makes our game very different immediately is the turn and phase order. We've tried to simplify it as much as we can, so it's easy to learn. But I think we mentioned earlier about sort of, well, Alex mentioned it about units. Like, why wouldn't these guys be able to split up? You can in our game. And that means there's millions of possibilities of what you can do. Because you don't have a locked down, we call them attachments. So attachment size, you bring to the game any model you want to bring, and you bring them in any group size or individuals that you want to bring. So yes, there are commanders or HQ. We have 6 groupings. You got HQ, the effectors, which are awesome. I'll get onto them in a second. They have their own phase. The main troops, the specialists, the support, and then your vehicles. And I suppose there is a 7th because we do want to do turret sets, which you can actually get a human turret set, 2 turret sets on the Kickstarter as an add-on, which is pretty. They look pretty good. Yeah, we're quite happy with them actually. Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the Kickstarter. But yeah, it's like yeah, it's kind of given that. So they all work very differently, and there are certain like vehicles that aren't in the vehicle category, but that's because our game's broken down very differently. Every grouping is there for a reason. You're going to find certain attachments in certain groupings, obviously. But the effectors are what really makes it different.
This will take a minute, and I need a quick pee. So
yeah, no worries. Yeah. It's all me now.
Excellent.
Now let the fun begin.
All right.
Yeah, I'll press the button. The disco ball comes down because Alex is gone.
Nipple tassels and all, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, so there's no force organization chart or required models to start a game of War and Terror or required amount of models. You bring what you want to bring according to the point value that you and your opponent have discussed. If they've brought more HQs than you, then fair enough. If you've brought an entire tank army and they haven't, then fair enough. That's how you want to play your game. Command models do give certain bonuses. There are bonuses and benefits to taking them. But if you want to spare the models because you think an extra set of 10 guys will do you more benefit or favors, then go for that. It's your game. Play it how you want to play. The effectors really change things up. The effectors are our main key point model. With every effector, we've got about 3 or 4 to every faction so far. They all play very, very differently. They each get a deck of cards. They have 2 effects that you can choose every turn to what they do. They might be immediate turn, they might be immediate effects, or they might be long-lasting effects. Yeah. It will say on the card. So yeah, it's I think that's 2 of the points. Can't remember the others you mentioned.
So it was yeah.
Yeah, I've went over game turn and phase.
It was full of lots of questions and
yeah,
too much like Russell Brand, and I do apologise for that. Kind of.
So you have to grow your beard out a bit more for that.
Oh yeah. Get some bangles and an open chest shirt.
Oh yeah, the deepest V. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Get my Essex accent on. Okay, so no, I think you've answered pretty much what I asked. I know someone in the comments will say something, but
I think you said about the dice we use as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mentioned that.
And the charts and everything, because I'm pretty sure some people have seen that massive 20 by 20 grid.
Like... People seem to be put off by the grid. The fact is, all our combat works off that one grid.
Yeah.
And as complicated as it seems, it's not. Like you say, it's 20 by 20. So if the model attacking, you take their ballistic skill and the power of the weapon they're using, add them together, that's your attacking value. The model you're shooting at has an armor value, that's its defending value. So on the grid, say I'm firing with 12, that's my ballistic plus power, and I'm firing at 4. On the grid, you go along the bottom to 12, up to 4, and that's the dice roll result you need on a d20 to hit them. It's as simple as that. As complicated as it looks, because it's 20 by 20, so it's a crap ton of numbers. It couldn't be any easier if it tried. You really couldn't.
Doing it on a D20 allows for more flexibility in the stats.
It gives you so much more scope.
Rather than D6, which can get a bit flat. Everything's on the
I mean, I'm not, like I've said it before, and I'm not picking on Games Workshop, but the fact by using a D6, you haven't got the scope. If you've got a tiny, Imperial Guard guy or whatever they call them now, going up against, and you've got Bane blades, to have all that scope in 6 numbers is pointless. Where really you're writing off 1 and 6 anyway. Whereas on a D20, there's so much scope, and then we do have D6s. We have the D12 as well, which is your defending roll. That's always, say, a human, they're quite squishy, they need a 10 plus, and that's always done on a D12. So yeah, we've incorporated different dice, not for the sake of just being different, but because they've made sense for what we need them to do, really.
Okay. And so when you're selecting what armies you want, and you're working out what you are having in your force, do you have like a guideline on how you set it out? Is there points? Is there like requirements for a number of units? What's going on there?
No, we've called it battle value, but yeah, it's points. So each model, because it's not done on, or we'll say we call them attachments, not units, but I'll use familiar phrases. So you're not taking a unit of 10, which has a cost. Say you're taking a Tesla Marine, the cost is for 1 Marine. And then if you want to take 10, and it's 10 times the amount. But there's no, you can take whatever you want. If you just want to take 400 Tesla Marines, that's fine. If you want to take nothing but tanks, that's fine. We do have one qualification, and that it's our command, or HQ, is separated into 4 tiers. So for the humans, we've got the major, which is the lowest, and I think it goes up colonel, general, and then field marshal. You can only take one. You can take one command model of each tier.
Yeah,
but that's the only. That's the only like restriction we've put on what you want to take.
Right. Yeah. Sounds nice and easy, doesn't? Because between the different game systems that Games Workshop does, for example, you've got your points value for the unit if you want to play casual play. Power points, I think it was, they had for a bit. Then your tournament points, which is valued differently and changes every season.
Yeah. What?
Same for Age of Sigmar. You get the command book. I can't remember what it's bloody called. What's it called? Do I have it here? General's Handbook. There we go. So every season they release the General Handbook with the updated FAQs and tweaks to each of the things, and they have the list.
Mad. How do you keep up? You can't keep up.
It's tough, but if you're a tournament player, you're heavily into number crunching. But just for casual players, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
I suppose that's why they did the PowerPoints in the first place, was just for casual players. You can get a rough matchup, but it didn't really reflect on the loadouts or the quality of, because there'll be like, for example, this unit of 5 men will be 12 PowerPoints. Yeah, that's just but some of the war gear is a bit crapper than others, and of course, if there's no like change in the value of that unit, you're just gonna go for the best gear every time, aren't you? So there's a bit of mismatch from that. I think they're dropping it for 10th edition. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I've been trying to keep up on the releases of the old blog posts on the 10th edition rules, and it looks like they're dropping the PowerPoints. But the update and the rules and stuff, yeah, you'd have more luck trying to manage through the stock market, like shit,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's obviously reasons they do it, and I'm not saying that it's all financial, but a lot of it is. I'd argue just like we tried to do with our, get it right the first time, and then you don't have to get the only reason you bring out a new edition, it's not to fix problems, it's to make people buy a load more stuff. I know that seems a bit pessimistic, but we can't. None of us can be under any illusion that that's not what they're trying to do. Really,
that is definitely a driving factor. Because if you change how an edition works, then it changes what people are buying. So if some products aren't doing so well, if you want to sell more of certain products, you'd gear it more towards that. Like, I remember one edition was very much psyker heavy. Like, there was extra emphasis on having psychic types doing their thing, and so they sold more. And they've had one where it was more like big gun friendly, so they sold more units with big guns. And yeah, it's definitely a marketing strategy. You can't deny it. But what irks me is that, you know, upon release, a lot of the time there's an FAQ, and then there's like another FAQ 6 weeks later, and it's just like,
you've just released it. Yeah. Surely you'd be reading through this and spot them. But
I think their rapid schedule just it bites them in their own ass. You know, they slow it down. I think, but will the shareholders let them? That's another thing.
Well, no.
But that's the problem. Once you've got shareholders, you're stuck. Then really, I'm not saying that's not the right way to go for them, but they've got you by the short and curlies now.
Yeah. So
the one. So I'm going to jump. Another thing about War on Terra is, and it's one thing that we've repeated all the way from the start because it's one of the greatest things about it, is the scalability. You can play a small skirmish of 5v5, like the guys did the video, the bat rep for us from Tom's tabletop bunker.
Yeah.
I
got the bug.
Yeah.
I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So small battle rep of 5v5.
Which one did you buy? Turn that around again.
You got the eat, sleep, hobby, repeat.
Nice. The one I got was it was the Good Choice ship dice or something like that. I can't remember. It was the one because I was stood next to you at Chilcon when we bought those, and we purposely went.
Well, I mean, first of all, top lads, I wanted to show a bit of support.
Yeah.
Mug. Secondly, and thirdly, they had they were giving away that whole board with everything on it, weren't they?
Yeah, that was nuts.
That's right. And neither of us won it.
No, which was a shame. But I mean, I'm glad it's bored.
Carry that,
but no, so it's like those guys showed. You can play the game with 5 models. And if they were to play a game now with the full box that we're selling on Kickstarter, it would be exactly the same game rule set. Like, I chatted to some guys at Chilcon who can't remember your names. Sorry, guys, if you're watching. But they said, they started off with Kill Team. I know, yeah. They started off with Kill Team because they didn't have loads of money for a whole army.
Yeah.
And now they've started to amass a little collection after playing lots of different kill team lists. Now they're looking at getting into full 40k, but now they've got to learn a brand new rule set. It's a very different game, and it's like, well, why? Our game's skirmish. You can get in at a real low cost, and then just play the same game when you start amassing an army, and you know the game, and it works.
I like that. That was one of the draws to Age of Sigmar when that first came out, because it was scalable. again, you could have any size force,
Mm.
and you just played. It was mostly narrative driven, and it still pretty much is. There's a good, healthy tournament side to it, and a competitive side to it, but it's largely narrative driven, and so yeah, it's scalable and that works nicely. But you know, as time goes on, things get convoluted, and it's Games Workshop. They get things a bit more complicated. But what I like about your game system is there doesn't look like there's going to be any need to complicate things. You're just keeping it exactly the same. Doesn't matter what scale you play at. And that entices me definitely, because especially when you got limited hobby time as well, you want to get stuff painted, or you just want a quick game, just to wet your taste buds on the tabletop palette, so to speak. And oh, what a choice of words! Fucking hell.
Well, with War and Terror, it's a simple game that you're the one that complicates it because of the tactics you then decide to take. It isn't a complex game that's hard to wrap your head around so that then you can finally make the decisions. No, it's really simple to learn, really simple to just get going on it. And then the more you play it, the more you learn about it, the more actions you learn there is. It's kind of like life. The more you learn that you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's War on Terror. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Okay. I think we've shielded enough of that. So,
a little bit.
Yeah. So I've got a whole bunch of questions from my Discord.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I'm gonna throw the first one at you.
Are they all? I'm guessing they're all game related.
Well, we'll see. I haven't actually proofread them, so the professional I am. But I was like, this morning, I quickly sent out a message saying, "Hey, look, I got the guys on tonight. Throw me some questions you want answered." So the first one is, Maccas or Clackers?
Clackers. I'm guessing that means Mackie D or KFC.
Possibly. Possibly.
Because I imagine Clackers is in chicken.
Yeah, do you like breasts or buns?
I was playing solid because I still don't know if there's a reference.
There's probably there. Yeah. In which case, I'm just going to stick with my answer, and even if it doesn't mean KFC, I'm going to stick with Clackers.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on the fence because I don't know what I'm agreeing to.
Nor do I. I tried to sort of get a clarification from it, and they were very aloof. So
I prefer no clarification on that one.
Yeah,
I stand firm on Clackers.
Clackers, okay. Clackers.
That's
Clackers
that's the hill you're dying.
I'm
gonna reserve decision on that.
You can't have a finger in each pie, man. Just choose one.
I don't know. He is a chef. He probably made both pies. That's
true, actually. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Literally got the fingers in the pot.
Oh dear. Oh, dude, you're not supposed to do that to the pies. That's very inappropriate.
No. Yeah, well, no one sees what happens in the kitchen.
No.
Oh, I don't know why I opened it.
Thank you very much.
I should have brought a can for myself. Okay, right. So, we already covered what dice you do. You got D20, D6, and D12s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The main mechanism of the game. So it's turn-based, but you have priority each phase.
Yeah.
And you alternate what you do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Will they be available to retailers after the Kickstarter spring next year? Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, it will. It's we're obviously looking to get into as many shops as possible. Actually, we do have a retail pledge if there's any budding shop owners listening, if they back us on the Kickstarter, they will be able to order and have the goods for sale a month before the official retail launch. And then, yeah, it'll be available in all shops. Failing that, it will be available on our website. There's already a shop set up, so obviously when it goes live, all the products will be there, and we'll be shipping worldwide from there. If no else, but there's already been a few shops.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Show interest. So, it will be available and continue to be available for hopefully a long time.
Sweet. All right. All right. We've got the inspiration of the game as well. So someone asked. This is from Void Captain Bazooka. I was looking at their Kickstarter and wondering why the photos of the models, apart from the busts and low-res photo of the initiate box contents, are so dark. I'm guessing that's just for atmosphere.
I think it was.
Yeah. You've got the page up.
Oh, there might be the initiate. Is that other forces? Did they say? In which case, like these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
apart from the busts and the initiate box contents, he was asking why are the photos so dark?
Some of them are just down to, some of it's down to the design of the images. Some of it's down to, it would have been the lighting when we were taking the photos, and then our limited graphic design.
I imagine,
capabilities. Obviously, there's a lot of CGIs of different bits, but obviously, if you go on the website and things like that, you can see all the pictures of the painted models, so you can get an idea. You know that they are physical things that exist.
Yeah.
It's just for a lot of the graphics on the Kickstarter, we found it was just cleaner across the board to keep them all the CGI is sort of the same color. Although apparently we haven't managed to get them exactly the same color.
Yeah, true.
But no, it comes down to the graphic design of it all. I did it as cleanly and professionally as I was able to, but it's
again, we've learned all of this off our own backs, and it's still a learning process. 100%, it's still a learning process. This is all War and Terror is. So
all right, sweet. Okay, we've got another question from Underhive Hero. Will you be planning on selling individual squads after the initial release? And you already said you'd be looking to sell through freelance games shops. But yeah, the initial individual squads and tanks and big gribblies. And stuff.
100%. We've already figured out the numbers that would be in each one. So, although obviously we don't have units as such, generally speaking, if you're buying a basic human troop, it's going to be 10 in a box. You'd be able to buy a tank on its own. I think we've figured out that with the 5, obviously 4 for Kickstarter, and with the 5th one for the retail launch, there's going to be about 120 separate products to buy initially, like right off the bat. So, because we get it. There's a lot of people that might not, and we've had it at conventions. People have been interested. Probably would never play a tabletop game, but I really like the greys. So it's something they'll be able to go on and buy a flying saucer and 10 grey troops. Yeah, that's definitely
store of it.
Yeah, it'd be very similar. I mean, the initiate box is great because it literally contains absolutely everything you need to play the game. You can buy that box and you never need buy another thing. It has got everything in there. But yeah, like anything, if you want to expand on it, you don't have to buy massive Battle Force boxes.
No,
you can just pick and choose.
All right, cool. So, all right, we've already answered this question as well from Waylander's Wondering. He asked how much of the stuff shown on a Kickstarter is real and how much is renders. I think you've already said the painted stuff is the real stuff and the grey plastic stuff is renders.
To keep it consistent, a lot of the stuff we've shown on there is renders, but everything's real. Like we say, if you go on the website, if you watch videos from MS Paints, Dave over at MS Paints, he's got his hands on the box. He's painted up and put the models together. They exist. The book.
By the way, how fucking awesome was the intro to that video?
As
I'm
we,
like,
yeah,
Oh,
fucking hell. I messaged him straight away. I was like, dude, like, how long did that take you? He said, oh, 3 days, and I had to have a break in between.
I did just it. There are no words. Just that came out of the. That came out of nowhere, and we had no idea he was going to do anything like that.
Oh yeah, he goes
Just
above and beyond.
Yeah.
He's stellar like that, but he's been really
Yeah.
stepping it up, and yeah, like I'd look to maybe getting that clip and throwing it on the website, because that'll get the juices
Yes.
flowing.
we would. I mean, obviously, we've used it on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
Because he sent over some B-roll and he sent over that intro, and I said, "Oh, look, I know you're going to use it in your video, but we have to use that at the start of our Kickstarter video because nothing we're going to come up with is going to be anywhere near as looking as that." Because he's obviously he's got all the equipment, he's the film guy. Yeah, I mean, it was blinding.
Oh, he's got some really nice camera rigs, like
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just
a slidey one, and he's got like the up and down one.
It's got everything you need, whereas we've got 2 mobile phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to, so that's an interesting question. So when you look, sorry, I'm looking over the screen because we got the TV with the actual Kickstarter on. When you go through, you've got, so the initiate box, that's a picture of the full contents. That's all physical. That's all there. Same with the objective expansion, same with the terrain expansion, same with the cards.
Yeah.
Same with the rule book. Same with the bus set, which we happen.
Which actually, the bus set. And just to let you know, like if there are things that are renders, I'm a massive perfectionist when it comes to 3D printing anything, and I will not accept any because renders you can make look amazing, but when you actually 3D print them, sometimes it can really lack. I want to get it as crisp and as close to the render as I absolutely physically can, and that does mean that So the bus set is awesome in person.
That looks amazing.
Yeah. So this is what you will get for the collector's pledge and the immortal pledge. Bus set of all 4 factions. So you've got the Talus, and they've all got their faction symbol. So you've got the human, you've got the War on Terra Kickstarter plaque, the grey, and then the Haraka. Yeah. And they're all pretty cool.
Holy shit!
They're all on the little podiums. Yeah, well, everyone's going to get a handmade sort of wooden base to it as well, so that'll be really nice. But no, absolutely, yes. They, as Alex pointed out, an awful lot of the images on there are our real pictures. The renders are of models we've already printed off, and they're already great. But believe me, they will look like that when you get them. It was just a lot easier for us and quick time to put on a render for a lot of the add-ons, for example, instead of sort of just a grey model that might have lost detail in maybe lighting and camera and stuff like that. So
there's no concepts on the Kickstarter. Everything that we have there exists, is real, and is already a physical thing, whether we've used a render or not.
Yeah,
I like that, because there's way too many Kickstarters out there where it's not even
they haven't got a product.
No,
or it's just a concept, and it's like, well, you why am I gonna pay for you to just say, well, I kind of got this idea, but I need 20 quid off you. You won't get anything for it, and it might not happen.
And that's the worrying thing about Kickstarter is like, well, I'm giving you my money. Am I actually going to get anything? And it's like, I get that. You are with us because we, like we said right at the start, we don't just want to do War on Terror. We want to be around. We've got other games. We've got other great games in mind, completely different from board games to other war games. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on you guys now. In a creepy, peek through your window kind of way. Though, I mean,
you can do, yeah.
I'm definitely going to be there for when I see you two trying to keep warm during the cold nights. Sorry. All right. Also, Waylander asked, is everything going to be 3D printed, or are we likely to see actual resin plastic casts?
It's obviously this is one we get asked a lot. Initially speaking, especially based on how the Kickstarter is at currently, we're looking down 3D printing. I mean, we know some people have an issue with it. I mean, we don't. You can check these videos. You can look at the pictures on the website. The quality you're getting is no different. In fact, a lot of times it's a lot better than some of these things that have been cast if they've not been done well. The difficulty is when you start going up to things entry level CO cast, or if you start going up to getting things CNC milled and having like sprues made. It's just the cost is it's preventative to us at our stage, especially in terms of what we want to knock out. If we're looking at opening with 100+ products, bear in mind one of them's a tank, and that might take 3 sprues. To get one CNC milled block of aluminium is 10-20 grand, depending on how complicated it is. So times that by what we want to do, and you're literally talking millions of pounds just to make the base. So don't get me wrong, moving forward, there's certain things, especially for the larger models, like bits of the tank and stuff, we'll be looking at casting in resin or plastic, anything that we can do. And moving forward, anything that we can, transfer across to that would make sense.
Absolutely.
At the moment, no, the vast majority, if not all, is 3D printed, and you won't have any issue with the quality of it as far as we're concerned, because again, if you look at people's videos or look at the pictures online, the quality is quality.
Even on these little freebies, I mean, like I've seen the quality on them, like they're smooth as hell, and I've handled some 3D printed stuff. I don't have a 3D printer myself, and sometimes you can see the layer lines on them and that, but these are smooth as anything. So no, like I believe you, and I guess because you guys are printing the stuff yourselves, you have that quality control as well. So
absolutely.
Where a lot of people they sell STLs online, and it's up to you to figure out how to sort out the quality, and a lot of the time the supports ain't right and stuff like that. You get failed prints. Like you guys know exactly how you're going to print it, like what speed and like thickness of the layers and stuff like that. I got a very loose grasp of it, like thanks to
well, so have I. If you had any idea of the amount of time this guy here has put in to perfecting the art of 3D printing, it's.
And I would say I've still not even scratched the surface, but like I said, I want to give people good models. I'm a hobbyist at the end of the day, and I like a real nice model to paint. If I wouldn't accept it, you're not going to get it. And that's that at the end of the day. If I want to paint it, I would say it's a nice model. So you're going to get a good model.
I'd say someone who you guys got to have a chat to is Dan from the Lions Tower, because of course he is a digital sculptor, and he's got a huge range of miniatures, and he even does like his sculpting live on Twitch, so like he can answer questions as he's doing his thing. So
that's cool.
that's nuts. Yeah, like I can like give you his deets, and you can like throw, if you want to like get more questions about more like higher technical stuff, and
I'll accept absolutely anything. I'm probably still sculpting like a complete novice and just doing the long way round, but it works.
The friendliest guy ever, and even though he's got this business, he is 100% coming at it from a hobbyist angle, just like yourself. So he's like, if I wouldn't accept it, I'm not gonna give it out to anyone else. So I think you guys would have a lot to talk about. So
that'd be cool. That'd be good.
So look at me, being the social like connector. Ooh. Is this what it's like to be an influencer?
Oh, you said the words. You
Oh,
said
I
the
said the
words.
fucking word. Oh, what a dweeb.
Oh, you're a content creator. Dave said this.
Oh, I mean, like, what fucking content do I create half the time? It's just nonsense, and it's me chatting to a camera while I put some shitty footage of me not getting the focus right on painting some shit.
Yeah, welcome to the.
Yeah.
All recorded on the phone as well. Like, it's terrible. So yeah, no. No, I get it. So how many printers do you have at the moment? And is the Kickstarter going to help fund extra printers? Is that the main drive for it, so you can like really pump out the numbers?
Yeah, basically, because the game is done, the models are done. What you see is good to go. The idea with the pledge or the pledge goal or the Kickstarter goal was essentially to again kickstart us, buy more printers, get it out wide to the wider world. We could go now. The difficulty thing is, the difficulty in that is, yeah, I've only got 2 printers, 3 if you count an older one that I don't really use. I use it if I'm printing the odd model or 2, especially if I'm testing a print out and testing parts. Just smaller print bed, easier to shove on. But I've only really got 2 printers, and they've done us well so far. But yeah, the funding is there to essentially order all of the components, which is nice because again, we're getting them from UK companies.
Yeah.
So they are here, good to go. As soon as we hit the order button, and then to buy the resin as well as a few extra printers to make sure that we can get it out as soon as possible. We don't want you waiting years. So yeah, a few more printers and good to go.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so we've got a whole fucking bunch of questions from Adam Dodge, who himself has his own small miniature companies. He's done a small range of essentially Vikings versus werewolves.
Nice. That sounds.
They're called Vargolfs. And you know, like, it's quite cool actually. So let's have a quick look. So we know about the universe you're in. We know about the initial 5 factions.
Yes.
Are the Greys the same guys that are visiting us in Tic Tacs?
It's yeah. Well, yeah. Arguably, well, you've got several. I've spent too much time down this rabbit hole. You've got several video because the US government is starting to come out with all this. Oh yeah, vehicles not of this earth are. I think you've got the Tic Tac video, which I think is the one that Commander David Fravor of the USS Nimitz, I want to say, he chased. He's a fighter pilot, and you've got the gimbal and you've got the Go Fast. Those are the 3 main latest UFO videos that have come out.
Right.
Tic Tac, I'd say potentially, although I think the consensus is these Tic Tacs would be more likely probes rather than manned craft. Yeah. So I'd say they're Grey owned technology. Yeah. I'll go along with that. Ooh, yeah, if that's a slightly more involved an answer than I'll.
This is how far down the rabbit hole we went when it comes to the Greys, okay? Because again, we want them based in reality, and this is stuff we're into.
Yeah, I shouldn't know these things. I shouldn't know the bloke's name or the ship he served on.
But you do. All right. Okay, so we've that's all right. We've answered those questions. He asked, "Is Talos our future with Chat GPT?" But I mean, you said it's robot, not AI, so we know.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, it's not.
I suppose AI. It could be GPT because GPT it's not AI. It is AI, but it's learned from what it's given.
It's kind of just free like Google. That it is basically Google, isn't it? It's just it answers back.
I mean, we've it's weird because everyone's terrified of AI. Well, specifically when you talk to people like Elon Musk. well, not talk to them, but hearing to them. I mean, I've never chatted with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Just yesterday.
Because we've in our universe we've it's a combination of never getting to the stage of perfecting it and basically just agreeing that it's a bad idea. It's almost, the Talus are almost more terrifying in the way that if something has genuine AI, like actual intelligence, you could probably try and conversationally reason with it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's just a cold, unfeeling machine who is just running off its programming, as corrupt as it may be at that point, you can't reason with it. If it's decided that, you need to be dispatched, then that's what it's going to do.
Fair enough. If asked, so Adam's still asking a lot. Oh, bloody hell, that's a lot of questions. So he's asked about will there be a campaign system, and going forward, can we expect any expansions?
Well, yes and yes. Campaign, it's difficult with a game like that. We are looking at adding some narrative missions and bits and pieces into it. Expansions, yes. We're sort of keeping them a bit under wraps at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously on the Kickstarter, you've got the objective expansion, which in essence it's a series of objectives. You get 2 massive decks of cards. I think there's 150 in each one with different things that you need to try and achieve during a battle. And then you've got Whack-A-Xeno, which is basically whack-a-mole. There's 6 positions marked on the battleground, and then you roll dice and card draws to find out where these creatures pop up and how many of them. So as well as fighting the enemy, you've got score points by killing these creatures. And then we've got several ideas, but we don't really want to.
Yeah, because they're fleshed out, but the ins and outs, the ideas are there, and the aspects of the games and how they work are there. But the ins and outs, the rules, the like of set rules of set expansions in the future aren't there yet. So by saying them now, we might be shooting ourselves in the foot if we do change something or a name or anything else like that. So yeah, in short, as he said, yes and yes.
Yeah, and a couple of the ideas are really cool. We don't want them out there until it can't do it. Yeah,
poached. Yeah, I get it.
Stolen. Yeah, because a couple of them are things we've genuinely not seen before. For tabletop, so we're quite excited about it. So yeah, watch this space.
Yeah,
is about all we can say.
Fair enough. So you've already told us about the pledge levels. Some minis are available as add-ons. Would more be made available during the Kickstarter? I don't think.
The add-ons are the ones that we've chosen.
Yeah.
To be add-ons. So we're not going to make any more available throughout the Kickstarter. The add-ons are
I mean, we weren't even going to do that to start with.
No,
we thought we'd put a couple in there.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, like I said, the core, the bread and butter of it is the initiate box, and so people can get their hands on that and get a feel for the game first, see how it plays, get a feel for what they think they're going to need moving forward and expanding their army. And by that time comes the retail launch will probably be there or thereabouts, in which case they can get whatever they like.
Yeah, you'll know how you play. You'll know if you're a defensive or an attacking player, and you'll know how you're going to run your attachments, whether you're more of a troop person or a bit of a mixture or just a heavy vehicle, or vehicle and only command. Like, we don't know. So the initiate boxes might not be the models you take, but we've tried to encompass different styles of models in each force so that people start playing very differently from the offset, and learn what they like and enjoy. And the add-ons are there just in case you do get a fancy, I don't know, for a turret set and you want to move into that, and that's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, and things like there's the big game hunter on there, which is like if people have seen, it's like a sort of like a big mech walker, if you like. That was something that appeared on the website, and so many people mentioned it that we had to put it in there.
Yeah,
because
Oh,
It's a cool model.
It's a cool
model.
model.
it is.
So,
There was one. There's two last questions from Adam. So one was well, actually, there's three. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, they're just interesting questions. That's why we answered most of his questions. Like he had like 25 questions. So yeah, yeah, he had questions on the lore, questions on the game, and then questions on the Kickstarter. So these are Kickstarter questions. So has there been much request for alternative pledges or add-ons that are being considered, such as an add-on for just a complete army or an all-in pledge with all 4 armies included?
well, funnily enough, I mean, he's obviously checked the Kickstarter. One of the add-ons is an additional force. So in the initial box, you get 2 forces, which you get to choose yourself which 2 of the 4. But yeah, a lot of people said, "Oh, can you just get another army?" So we have put that on there. So you can. One of the add-ons is an additional force. So you can buy the box and choose humans and greys, and then you can add an additional force and get Haraka, or add 2 more forces and get all 4 armies for cheaper than buying 2 initiate boxes, if that makes sense. So, so yeah, the options on there to do that.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't need like 2 lots of the scenery set and rule sets and stuff like that, would you?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not something we thought that people would be, doing straight off the bat. But yeah, that's quite a common thing. People can't choose which 2, so they want 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. And I assume like the scenery pieces that you do get is like good stock card, like with laminated covers on it.
It's gloss printed, gloss laminate printed on like a thick sort of like mount board, if you like. I think it's about 3 mil thick, cut out. So yeah, they come in sort of A4 size sheets. They pop out. You do glue them together. Just PVA is fine, but they glue together really quickly, and they just quite effectively. Because like I say, we've got the terrain expansion. That's enough to fill a huge table. But even in the box, there's enough in there that literally, if you had nothing, it's enough to give enough terrain on the table to play a decent game. Because terrain features very heavily in our game in terms of how you play it. So we thought it was important to get some in
there. I remember in Dave's video on MS Paints, he did say like, because of the style of the game, you could use almost any terrain set as well that you already accumulated from other game systems, and it wouldn't look too out of place. And you could easily create a narrative for it. And I believe you got like cards that you draw for the scenario that you're in as well. So, or was that something else? I don't know. Am I chatting shit?
I think he was talking about the planetary decks, which affect. So things like lightning can happen, or meteor strikes, or
just heavy wind. Heavy wind can half the move distance of all infantry models. So that might really throw you back, because you might in your turn want to rush into cover, and now you can't make it because suddenly there's a gush of wind, and it's stopped you short.
Yeah, and there's electrostatic storm, so it affects sort of energy weaponry. Their range is diminished. But yeah, going back to the scenery, I think Dave said he was using or used. I didn't recognise the exact sets in his video, but I think it looked like the battle system stuff. But yeah, like you say, you can use anything. I mean, Infinity's got a ton of great sort of cyberpunky scenery.
Beautiful as well.
It would match in perfectly.
But I do like yours as well because it's nice and lightweight. So it's just we're happy with it. Yeah, it should be. It's nice stuff. On that board that you guys were demoing on, that was something else. That was pretty decent. Like with all the lights, you had like a smartphone in there, there's a big screen and everything. That was pretty nice.
like moths to a flame.
Yeah, yeah. You so beautiful. Oh, the light
Oh
is
my
so
god!
beautiful.
No, don't go towards the light.
Yeah, that was. You have to put a link. I think there was. I think it was On Tabletop interviewed us at UKGE last year, and they've got a load of really good shots of that table that you're talking about. If people wanted to see it,
Awesome.
just because yeah, it took a lot of time.
Yeah, I think I grabbed a quick little with my phone. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, the wife. Yeah, if you got chuck
Yeah.
if you got photos.
Yeah. All right. So that was that. Oh yeah. Are there any playthrough videos available for people to see how the game plays? I believe that's the last question.
There's a couple. That's the only thing that we're upset. Funnily enough, we filmed one ourselves in our local game shop, the Consultant Gamer in Ashford in Kent here. To be honest with you, just with I'm not quite as prolific with After Effects. It's quite new to me. So yeah, with everything else going on in the build up to Kickstarter, we didn't get the time to knock it out. But there are a couple of like we mentioned earlier, Tom's Table Bunker.
They're doing another one as well. So they've got some more models. So before they did a 5v5, they've got their hands on a few more models. So they're going to do a little bit of an extra game. I don't know when it's coming out. So keep your eyes on those cool guys. But the little 5v5 was only 3 turns. They included in the second turn the use of a weather deck. I think the only thing that they didn't include, which they didn't have, was an effector. But they will this time. They will have the effectors this time. However, their gameplay was perfect. They had never really played a full game like that before, of even 3 turns. Yeah. All the rules were right. And if you really want to see even a short playthrough of just this 5v5, 5 humans versus 5 humans, it really is a great video to watch. And it gives you a nice, easy intro into how the game works. Yeah.
I'll admit I've seen a fair bit of it, and yeah, they did a good job of it, and I felt like I could understand how the game works.
Yeah, if people want to see that, I'll make sure it's on the I'll put it onto the Kickstarter page as soon as, so then it'll be down at the bottom of the rest of the videos, and people be in.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's all the. Hang on. Let me just double check. I don't want to miss one. You never know.
Has Adam got any more?
No. Yeah, we already covered the last bit about what's going on in the future. Yeah, we know about that. Yeah. So you guys said that you'd be interested. Well, you're not interested. You actually have sort of got ideas for other games as well.
Yeah.
What kind of timescale are you looking at? Because I know, like, we're on War of Terror Kickstarter. It's fully funded now. It's still not going to be in the shops until spring next year. What kind of time are you looking to invest in another game system, and what would that look like, and how would that affect further development of this game?
It's hard to say.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. It's so hard to say.
We're not gonna rush into anything. Kickstarter is the main War on Terror is the main focus at the moment. That's not to say that, like, aside from our full-time jobs, we've been working on War on Terror. Now we're focusing on War on Terror. It's not to say we can't be starting to look at, the next game that we'd like to introduce. Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna. They're not just gonna bounce, off the back of each other that quickly. You're probably looking at, a couple of years before our next sort of game system. Like I said, there's other bits and pieces. There's ideas for simpler board games and things that we've come up with. So if we have time to fit those in, we'll have time to fit those in. But yeah, I mean, the main focus is War on Terror at the moment, with a view maybe the next game system would be, it'd probably be at least 18 months, 2 years, if not longer, after the retail launch. And even when that happens, it doesn't mean that momentum would stop with War on Terror. No. We wouldn't bring in a game system to replace previous ones. It would be to go alongside. It's not. We're not going to let anything. We don't want people to get invested in a game and then stop giving it love because we've run on something else new and shiny. It's
That's good to hear, because I think this game has got a lot of potential. For scope and like flexibility within it. So yeah, I mean, you've totally sold me on it. Like, I hope we've got a few more people turning their heads as well, because as I mentioned before, like this channel sort of it's built its way up mostly from like tutorials and playthroughs for beginners and people who are returning to the hobby after a long hiatus, like as everyone does, high school, uni, you sort of flop out and then you get back in, and then life happens, whatever. So we've got quite a diverse mix of people in our community, and it's nice to break out of that Warhammer bubble, see what else there is out there.
There's so much more.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, my mind's been blown the last few years. So, yeah, no, it's awesome to see that there are still new concepts being generated and put into physical form, and they're not convoluted or anything like that. They're approachable. They have a manageable entry level to it, which is always good, because you want to get a taste of something before you fully jump in. But you've also got the option for those who can recognize a good game because they got the experience too, and they just want to jump both feet in. So I think you guys have done a really good job with the approach, how you've sold it on Kickstarter, the concepts, from the miniatures themselves to the lore, and then like the way it plays as well. So yeah, I mean, like, big congratulations to you guys for getting that finally put together after 7 long years, and seeing it being realized, and there's more to come, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, I can't say any more. Like, it's awesome.
No,
I've got the website up on my screen right now, and you guys are too professional. It's disgusting. We don't do that here. We're a local channel for local people.
I wish you'd told us that before. It would have saved us hours.
Well, there you go. But no, but no. Like, I hope we turn more heads. We get more people interested. Like I said, we don't just have those smaller people, newer people and returning people. We also got long time, like, hobbyists involved in this. We got greybeards, like 70-year-olds who could just about work Facebook, who are like involved in the community as well. Yeah. So we're quite a nice. It's small, but it's like I said before, it's quality over quantity with our community, and that's. Oh bloody! I just knocked the table. And that's that's what I want. I want those awesome people to see what you have got to share, and
same here. Yeah.
Yeah, a nice little.
We want to get this out to the world. We want to carry on making it and make more games. That's all we want. So yeah,
sounds good. All right, and is there any final words you want to say to the audience before I hit stop record?
I did think of one from myself.
Yes.
We have been asked quite a lot from comments and messages and stuff. We only really discovered this after inventing Wakazino. Yes, you can play War on Terra as a solo mode, because the way Wakazino works, you can play solo against sort of AI aliens as a game, because they can attack back. So that does work, and technically that does count as a solo mode, which is cool. Kind of invented it without really inventing it. So yeah, you can play solo, which is pretty cool.
There we go. That's awesome, because it can be a bit it can be a bit trying to get a game organized with someone else, and if you just want to play a quick game yourself. Sweet.
Yeah. Anything from yourself?
All again, I think I've said it on other videos, is just come and play War on Terra. We've designed it to make it as fun as we think we can possibly make a tabletop game to be, because at the end of the day, it's still a game and it needs to be fun. Yeah. And whereas maybe some systems have lost that, or lost that as being their main focus. We think that that's our core focus. It's a fun fun game to play. Come and play it.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm just having a look. We got, as of recording, there's 27 days left on it, so still plenty of time, but don't dawdle. If you want to get involved in the Kickstarter, and all the awesome bonuses that come along with it, like those busts, which are so awesome.
That's I mean, if you needed another reason, obviously Kickstarter helps you get the product out there, but there's some bonuses there. There's some Kickstarter exclusive content, and obviously the prices of everything are lower on the Kickstarter than they will be on the retail launch. So there's never a better time. Get in and say you were here right from the start.
Yeah,
there we go. Get that bragging rights as well.
I'll tell you what, there are a select few, and we know their names, we've written their names down, who we went live, obviously Monday midnight, going into Monday, 1st of May, and we had 4 or 5 people back us within the first 5-10 minutes, and I'll tell you what, it was an incredible start to the morning, and I didn't get much sleep that night. I was buzzing. Seriously, get in there, get yourselves in there, and help us, basically. The more we get, the more printers we can get, the quicker we can get it out to you, the more time we can then put into it to then get all the pledges done, so we can open up the shop and bring out all those extra models. That's where we're at the moment. Now we're fully funded. It's just about getting it as high as possible so that we can get it quicker. And that's,
Awesome. I mean, that's the best way to end it, I think. So there you go. Check it out. I'll have the Kickstarter link in the description along with the website link. So if you want to just hop straight to the Kickstarter, you can, or if you want to have a look a bit more on the other stuff, the pictures and everything, go check it out. It's just under a month left on it, and I mean, like if you have got room in your hobby budget and you are thinking, you know what, forget 10th edition, I want something fresh. I mean, why not?
Yeah, forget 10th edition. The first edition's here.
Yeah, exactly. Done.
First edition's here, and right, there's going to be no scalping as well, so win-win, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not going to be any last minute crashes of it. I mean, it kind of sounds like a backhand compliment. I do apologize, but like, you're not going to sell out a product because you're going to make the product. It's print on demand essentially. So
there
you go. Like, you're guaranteed to get something if you go on here. Whereas with G-Dubs, it's like 5 minutes
maybe
it's out of allocation.
Yeah.
So there we go. War on Terra, AWA, game design. You're awesome. Alex, Will, beautiful chaps. Yeah. I'm gonna end it there. So thank you very much everyone at home for watching as well. I'll do the membership role after this, so it's not covering anyone's face. And thanks to everyone who backs this channel as well. You're all awesome. And just like, share, subscribe if you want more of this stuff. If you've got any more questions for these two, leave them in the comments below, and I'm sure they will answer them. If not, I can forward them. And big loves. Peace.